Insert disc 2.
It's time, Aaron, for our second listener call-in show.
Oh boy.
Yep.
These are always gold.
We've got some voicemails queued up.
All right.
We've got some callers waiting patiently.
Oh, really? Okay.
We're going to jump right in with our first, this is our first voicemail.
All right. What do we got?
Well, let's find out.
G'day, Boat and Aaron from The Huck. Just like to say that I'm really loving your shows. Thanks again for all your hard work. I know it must take up a lot of your time and energy, so it's really appreciated what you guys do. First of all, I have a question for Boat. If you happen to be on a flight to Mars that takes, say, 9 months, what album would you take if you could take only one to listen to on the way? Question for Aaron. You mentioned on a insert disc 2 that you attended a electronics course. I'd just like to know, what that involved and how you apply that knowledge today, and how you apply that to what you do with retro systems, especially. Also, Molly the cat would like to say hello. I think she's featured on a couple of videos. So say hi, Molly. Thanks, Molly. And hopefully soon I've got another episode for the Amiga 2500 in the wings, so hopefully I'll be able to get that out fairly soon. So yeah, thanks a lot. Bye for now.
All right, thanks very much.
Good stuff from the Huck.
Yeah, thanks, Huck. So, Aaron, why don't you tackle his question first while I ponder my answer?
Well, I'm going to be utterly and completely truthful with the listening public here, because they're my people. I went to Marshall, and my goal was to become something. Wasn't sure what. So at first my goal was going to be a writer. And then I changed my goal to be a psychiatrist, believe it or not. And then I changed my goal again to be a computer scientist, right? But my ultimate goal at Marshall was to sleep in, unfortunately.
And to set the high score on the Bad Dudes machine?
That's correct, among other things. And so I ended up going back home, and then I had a new goal, sleep more. And then eventually my dad had a goal, grab me by the hair, because I had hair at that point, and drag me to the nearest trade school and say, do this. And my dad was an electrician, so we went to a local place that offered a associate's degree in electronics training, and I got my 2-year degree there, and then got some more training when I went to work for IBM before it became Lexmark. And so at one point in my life, I'd say I had a decent amount of training in the realm of electrical repair, electronic technician, but a lot of that stuff I've lost because I haven't done it for so long. Now I use what I remember. Along with my partners, we cobble these breathalyzers back together and do maintenance. That's basically why we got hired there. In terms of the retro stuff, one thing I do have going for me is I'm a good hand at soldering, and so I do a lot of just low-level, mod stuff. And I don't go crazy. I'm not doing anything like, Huck's clearly a much more seasoned guy when it comes to the actual aspects of doing what he's doing. But I'm a decent hand when someone says, hey, go do this, I can do it. I know enough to get by. Just like with pinballs, I can sort of get by. I can do board repair. I'm good at that, but when it comes to much else, most of my skills have left me. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking as you were explaining.
I figured you were using that time to come up with something.
And, a trip to Mars is a long, long trip. I think in the documentary film The Martian, it took him and his crew something like a couple years or something
to get to. Said 9 months.
9 months. Okay, so I'm going to have to listen to this thing over and over and over and over again. So, and since he said, what album would you take with you? I'm limiting myself to something that was actually released in an album format. So it's got to be a piece of like pop music. It can't be like box greatest hits 4,000 disc set. That doesn't count. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're being fair here. So what do you come up with?
I wanted to have something that had the greatest amount of variety, a mix of songs that I'm very familiar with, and some songs that I still could probably listen to more. And I came up with, I think I would probably take the Beatles' White Album with me.
Which I've got that album.
I've listened to every Beatles album a zillion times, but there are definitely songs that I still skip often on the White Album. Just there, I don't feel like listening to them. Not that they're bad songs, but but there's also sort of weird stuff on there too. So when I'm feeling in a weird mood, I'll put on Revolution 9.
Which is barely a song.
Right. It's got a good mix of sort of classical string, relaxing things. It's got some hard rockin' tunes. Helter Skelter is on there. One of my favorite songs of all time, Dear Prudence. So it's got a good mix of everything. I think that if I was just going to pick one album to listen to for 9 months, it would probably be that. Do you have did any flash to your mind as I queue up the next
one? It wouldn't be that one. Although, I mean, that album is a little bit too out there for me. I mean, I like some of the songs on it, but I don't like the Beatles too, of course, you know that. I think it was Zeppelin 4 would be near the top. This, again, I've talked about this album before, but I really liked Bitter Little Pill from Lost Person. That's an album that had a lot of different, it's got a lot of different, or Jagged Little Pill.
There you go.
It has a lot of different beats. Some of the stuff's real angry, and some of it's kind of sweet. So I'm a big fan of that. That's got certain value to me personally. So probably one of those two albums. I mean, if I had sit and think about it, Bad to Hell would be up in that. That's another one that's got a lot of good mix of stuff. So there's three that pop into my head immediately.
Awesome.
Hey guys, it's Chris Bowles again. My question for you guys tonight is, what systems do you have the greatest nostalgic connection to? Just three. Mine will be the ZX Spectrum, because that was the first computer I had, and many great memories at school on that. Obviously the Amiga, and I think finally the N64, which is one I got when I got my first job and was in Newtown, and something good and fun to play on. So I just wonder what yours will be.
All right, thanks, Chris Foles for calling in. So I guess I will lead the dance this time. My big three, without a doubt. You got the Atari 1200 XL, my first ever gaming machine, my first computer. The NES. The NES, I used to dream about the NES. I'd have physical dreams about getting one and playing it. It was like as close as I could get. I had a subscription to Nintendo Power for a year before I had the NES.
But that was killing you.
Oh, yeah. So that obviously that was number two. And number three, fast forward in life, the GameCube. The GameCube came to me at a time of my life where things were not going real well. I just moved away from home for the first time in DC. I was engaged to this girl. It was not working out. It wasn't a good time. But I found so much joy in playing Monkey Ball, playing Animal Crossing, playing Mario Sunshine. I love the GameCube. It was just such a friendly system. It looked so good. It was also the first system I ever owned that I had composite outputs and a TV that could use composite outputs. And I couldn't believe how great it looked. So those were my big three: the Atari 8-bit line, the 1200 XL, the NES, and the GameCube. What about you, Aaron?
Well, I think a lot of people. I'm going to limit mine to consoles.
Okay.
Because people know the Coco, the PC, the Amiga. I love them.
If they didn't know, they know now.
But I'm going to, if we talk strictly consoles, I'm going to say the Odyssey 2. Which was the one we had. I really enjoyed and still enjoy it. The first console that I bought myself was the Dreamcast.
Really?
I got a deal on it. Hey, I would come clean, as I like to do. I saw it come out. I saw how it was doing.
You saw it come out in the store and you took it off the shelf?
No,
is that the deal
it
you
for
got?
months.
Okay.
And I was looking out, and I read somewhere on the net. They're like, I was like, you can back these discs up. And I was like, I'll be darned. And I always wanted one, and I never had any consoles. I had a PlayStation, but I mean, I'd gotten its it was okay. And so I got the Dreamcast. I really liked the Dreamcast.
So this would have been like 99, 2000.
I really enjoyed the Dreamcast. So I think I played that one quite a bit. Still have my original, Dreamcast. And then this is not a fair one. It's not. I'm not nostalgic about it, but I just look at it. It makes me so happy when I see it. It's my Vectrix that Brent got me. God bless him. We went around the block, but I love the Vectrix. It's so just even before anybody gave a crap about it, you could get them cheap. I just always enjoyed it. I always wanted one as a kid. I always thought that it just looked cool, and so I enjoy that. So those bring me back because, like I said, even though I didn't have a Vectrix when I was a child, man, I was like jonesing for one. I don't even remember I even asked for it, but I remember thinking the concept of it was cool. That you had a little TV and it played the Vector games. When I was a kid, the Vector games were a big deal, and so it plays Rip Off, it plays Asteroids, it plays the games like that. I was like, man, this is my system right here. And so when I finally got one after all those years, I really enjoyed having that. So those would be the three that come to mind. Mostly I was a computer kid though. So and I was saying about this the other day. I mean, between the Coco, the PC, and the Amiga, that pretty much takes me through all the way up to adulthood. The three of them. I played the crap out of all of them. Pretty much, equally. Especially now that I've spent so much more time playing the Amiga than I did even when I owned it the first time. So. It worked out good.
What PC game do you think you logged the most hours on? City of Heroes?
Oh, wow. If we're going to do that, it would be... You talking MMOs included?
Sure.
I'd say City of Heroes, EverQuest 1. I've played those games an awful lot. So probably, I'd say that probably those two, I miss City Heroes. I'd love to play with my kid. But
that is going to bring this listener-supported edition of Insert Disc 2 to a close.
Those are good. Good questions.
Yeah.
Too hard.
We will see you guys. Have a great week. We'll be back with ARG Presents on Wednesday. Amigos on Friday. No, that's not true at all. How do we do it?
No, that's it.
Amigos on Monday. ARG Presents on Wednesday. And Insert Disc 2 on Friday.
I promise I'm going to get out an Amigathon tonight or tomorrow. So I'm doing it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. Thanks for Retro Tech and Toys, Pixels at Dawn, Amiga Bong, Matt Duffert, Matthew Perron, Dan Ross. Thank you, all of you guys and people that are listening and not in the chat. We will see you next week. Until then, adios.